Mars enters Sagittarius on December 7, 2025, beginning a period where fire meets fire, intensity meets conviction, and action meets belief. It is essential to note that these interpretations are based on Sidereal or Vedic Astrology, which accounts for the approximately 24-degree difference with the tropical zodiac. Mars is a planet of drive, momentum, determination, and action. Sagittarius is a fire sign ruled by Jupiter, representing expansion, knowledge, belief systems, philosophy, long-distance travel, and the pursuit of truth. When the fire of Mars merges with the fire of Sagittarius, the atmosphere becomes charged, bold, and outward-focused. People may feel more inclined to take initiative, express conviction strongly, and pursue goals with renewed determination. This transit often brings shifts in global conversations, academic environments, political climates, and ideological expressions. It is a period when collective energy rises, and people feel compelled to voice their beliefs or take stands on matters they consider important. This combination tends to energize pursuits connected to higher learning, teaching, writing, publishing, and travel. People may feel an urge to expand their knowledge base, start new courses, or deepen their understanding of subjects that require long-term commitment. Mars in Sagittarius is also known for pushing individuals to act on their convictions rather than merely think about them. It can encourage bold decision-making, but can also lead to impatience if others do not share the same pace or perspective. Because Sagittarius is linked to beliefs and ethics, heated debates may arise, either in personal settings, educational institutions, or public forums. Some may defend their viewpoints passionately, while others may feel overwhelmed by the intensity of discussions. A significant feature of this transit is the planetary crowd forming in Sagittarius. During this period, Mars will be joined by the Sun, Mercury, and Venus at different times, creating a stellium that magnifies activity. Sun and Mars together increase confidence and assertiveness. Mercury and Mars together intensify speech and decision-making. Venus with Mars adds passion, attraction, and at times friction. Such a concentration of planetary energy makes Sagittarius a focal point for global and personal developments. Areas connected to travel, education, philosophy, religion, law, sports, and politics may experience rapid changes or heightened activity. Collective behavior becomes more outspoken and direct, and many people reassess their long-held beliefs. This transit also interacts with other ongoing planetary movements. Mars receives aspects from Saturn in Pisces, Jupiter in Gemini, and Ketu in Leo. Saturn's influence creates a tension between caution and urgency. While Mars wants quick results, Saturn demands patience and steadiness. This dynamic can lead to delays or require extra effort in areas where Sagittarius falls in one's chart. Jupiter's aspect from Gemini highlights the importance of communication, learning, and intellectual growth. While Mars pushes for action, Jupiter retrograde encourages reviewing one's knowledge, revisiting decisions, or refining plans before moving forward. The interaction between Mars and Jupiter also warns against rigid thinking and encourages openness. Ketu's aspect from Leo adds a layer of detachment or unpredictability to belief systems, creativity, or collective leadership narratives. Globally, Mars in Sagittarius often coincides with strong ideological movements, public protests, religious discussions, or widespread debates on justice and ethics. Sagittarius is tied to collective belief structures, and Mars energizes whatever it touches. The last time similar combinations occurred, the world saw major public demonstrations, heated political climates, and intensified conversations about rights and freedom. Although history does not repeat in the exact same way, the tone of the transit often mirrors previous cycles, urging society to confront unresolved philosophical disagreements. This can bring both breakthroughs and conflicts, depending on how individuals and communities channel the energy. On a personal level, Mars in Sagittarius encourages growth, exploration, and courage. Many people feel drawn to strengthen their physical routines, plan travel, commit to new learning paths, or pursue ventures that require boldness. Mars also pushes individuals to question outdated beliefs and replace them with something more aligned with current understanding. This can be liberating but may also create temporary friction with those who resist change. Relationships may see increased desire for honesty. People may express truths they previously avoided. It is a time when clarity emerges, but directness must be managed carefully to prevent unnecessary strain. The aspects of Mars during this transit bring additional areas of focus. Its fourth aspect to Pisces emphasizes discipline, responsibility, and perseverance. People may need to combine passion with caution, especially in matters requiring long-term commitment. The seventh aspect to Gemini highlights the need for measured communication. Rushed words, quick judgments, or impulsive actions may lead to misunderstandings. The eighth aspect to Cancer can create sudden shifts in family dynamics, personal security, or decision-making patterns. It is advisable to pause before reacting and analyze situations thoroughly. Overall, Mars in Sagittarius is a period of acceleration and expansion. It pushes individuals and societies to examine what they believe in and why they stand for certain principles. The transit encourages bold steps, higher knowledge, and the pursuit of truth, but also warns against extremes, rigidity, or haste. When handled with clarity and maturity, this transit can lead to breakthroughs, new paths, and greater understanding. When handled without awareness, it may spark conflicts or intensify differences. The best way to navigate this period is through balanced action, allowing Mars to fuel progress while letting Sagittarius remind you to stay open, informed, and guided by wisdom rather than impulse. It's crucial to perceive Mars as the planet of action. Wherever it transits in the chart or during transit, it ignites activity in matters associated with that specific house. If Mars is well positioned in the chart and during transit, it also takes on the role of a defender or protector, safeguarding the affairs related to the house it influences. To accurately assess the impact of these transits, it is crucial to consider your ascendant and moon signs. The ascendant sign offers insights into the timing of life events, while the moon sign reveals how you will emotionally respond to these changes. Take into account the position of your current Mahadasha Lord in your birth chart, as it can shed light on how these transits will influence the recurring themes of your current dasha period. This transit may manifest differently for each individual, and how they navigate this transit will depend on their personal charts. A more precise understanding of the impact of this transit can be gained by examining Mars's Ashtaka Varga score in Sagittarius. Keep in mind that the effects of this transit are contingent on Mars's interaction with the planets in individual birth charts. It's also worth noting that individuals currently experiencing the influence of Mars Dasha may feel the effects of this transit more intensely. To understand how this transit may affect you based on your zodiac sign and the houses it transits, let's delve into those specifics. For Aries, this Mars transit becomes one of the more decisive periods of the year, because Mars is not just any planet for you. It rules your first house of self, personality, physical vitality, confidence, and direction, and your eighth house of transformations, sudden events, deeper psychological shifts, joint resources, and hidden matters. When the Lord of your identity and the Lord of your major life changes moves into the ninth house of higher knowledge, destiny, long-distance travel, teachers, belief systems, and life purpose, you enter a phase where choices made now can reshape the course of your year. Mars in a friendly fire sign like Sagittarius works with clarity and speed, making you decisive, eager to move forward, and hungry for meaning. It becomes a time of taking your convictions seriously, pursuing education or guidance, and redefining what you consider your path. The presence of Mars in the ninth house often nudges Aries individuals to act on things they've been postponing, travel for study, applying for courses, reaching out to mentors, or committing to some long-term learning. You may also feel more inclined to defend your beliefs. But this transit isn't just about intellectual exploration, it often opens doors for real-life movement. Some Aries people may travel abroad, relocate temporarily, or engage in legal, academic, or spiritual pursuits that require courage and effort. Mars here gives the strength to break limitations and move towards something that feels like the bigger picture of life. Whether it is higher education, spiritual exploration, or simply seeking new perspectives, the ninth house brings the inspiration, and Mars brings the push. The challenge lies in overassertiveness. Mars does not enjoy being questioned, and Sagittarius resists compromise when it believes it is right. For Aries people, this combination may create friction with teachers, guides, authority figures, or even family members who disagree with your worldview. Conversations about religion, ideologies, travel plans, or education may heat up quickly. You may sense a growing desire to assert your truth strongly, sometimes too strongly, and this can create unnecessary conflict. With the Sun joining Mars on December 16th, ego rises and pride takes focus. You may feel more confident, more direct, but also less willing to adjust. While this confidence is helpful for taking bold steps, it can become counterproductive if it pushes you toward rigidity. Venus joining Sagittarius from December 20th brings another layer. Your desire for connection mixes with a strong desire for independence and personal truth. Relationships may feel vibrant and exciting but may also slip into dominance battles or misunderstandings if either side is willing to soften. For some Aries individuals, this period can bring travel with a partner, shared learning, or meeting someone through academic or spiritual circles. For others, it may highlight the differences in values within relationships. Mercury's entry into Sagittarius on December 29th sharpens the mental energy around you. Your speech becomes quick, direct, and more charged than usual. This is excellent for writing, debating, or strategizing, but you must handle it carefully in delicate matters. You may unintentionally come across as harsh even when you mean well. Mars aspects during this transit add more depth. The fourth aspect from Sagittarius lands on Pisces, your 12th house, where Saturn is currently transiting. This creates a strong Mars-Saturn interaction, which is rarely smooth. Pisces represents rest, isolation, subconscious, foreign lands, and spiritual surrender, whereas Mars wants action and speed. Saturn slows everything down. This combination can make you feel frustrated when plans take longer than expected or when responsibilities abroad or behind the scenes weigh on you. Attempts to move forward may feel blocked or delayed, requiring you to stay disciplined and patient. If you are dealing with foreign travel, visa issues, hospital matters, or spiritual practices, Saturn will demand a responsible approach. You may also feel mentally drained at times due to overthinking or long working hours. The best way to handle this energy is to respect Saturn's pace rather than fight it. Mars' 7th aspect on Gemini, your 3rd house, becomes especially important because Jupiter is retrograding there. This highlights communication, siblings, courage, skill development, technology, writing, and shorter travels. With Jupiter retrograde and Mars direct energy targeting this area, you must slow yourself down before speaking or acting. Miscommunication can easily turn into arguments. You may also feel pressure to learn something quickly or to prove something through words. This is a good time to upgrade communication skills, take writing or speaking seriously, or invest in technology or marketing. But your assertive tone may get you into disputes with neighbors or siblings if you don't manage it consciously. Since Mars rules your 8th house as well, deep conversations or secrets may surface unexpectedly, requiring maturity. Mars' 8th aspect on Cancer, your 4th house, stirs restlessness around home, property, and peace of mind. This can bring sudden decisions related to relocating, renovating, or shifting living arrangements. You may feel less settled, or you may react more strongly to household matters. Family interactions can become tense if someone triggers old patterns. Since the 8th aspect always brings unexpected elements, keep your schedule and decisions flexible. If a family member needs support, you may have to take more responsibility. This period also carries broader planetary influences. Rahu in Aquarius activates your social circles, long-term dreams, and network-driven opportunities. You may feel drawn to groups that share your beliefs or goals, but Rahu can also expose you to extreme opinions or push you toward impulsive statements in social spaces. Ketu in Leo affects your 5th house, making you more selective with expressions of creativity and romance. During this Mars transit, you may revise what you truly value and detach from distractions. Another major signature of this period is that Mars will not act alone. It will share Sagittarius with Sun, Mercury, and Venus, while receiving aspects from Jupiter, Saturn, and Ketu. This creates intense energy in your 9th house and influences your personal philosophy. You may experience breakthroughs, revelations, or moments that shift your understanding of life. The urge to travel, learn, and expand becomes strong, but you must keep yourself grounded. With so many planets involved, one decision can set off a chain of events in education, travel, family, relationships, and personal purpose. Overall, this Mars transit becomes a time of growth, movement, and clarity, but also a phase requiring careful handling of ego, communication, and decision-making. You are being pushed to expand your world, but you must do it consciously. Speed will tempt you, but patience will protect you. If you balance courage with responsibility, this transit can open doors that shape the entire year ahead. For Taurus, this Mars transit is one of the sensitive cycles of the year, because Mars rules 2 challenging houses for you: the 12th house of losses, foreign lands, isolation, sleep, expenditure, and subconscious patterns, and the 7th house of marriage, partnerships, agreements, and public interactions. When a planet ruling these areas moves into your 8th house of sudden events, transformations, intimacy, shared assets, inheritance, psychological deepening, and hidden matters, the energy can feel intense, unpredictable, and at times emotionally charged. This is not a negative transit by default, but it demands awareness, patience, and a willingness to evolve. Mars entering a friendly fire sign like Sagittarius increases the likelihood of breakthroughs, but it also accelerates the speed at which hidden issues surface. The 8th house is a house of transitions. It reveals truths that have been avoided or left unaddressed. For Taurus individuals, who prefer stability and predictability, this can feel uncomfortable. Mars here acts like a scalpel cutting through denial. You may find yourself dealing with joint finances, taxes, insurance, inheritance, or complicated financial arrangements with others. Partnerships, both personal and professional, may demand clarity about shared responsibilities, shared money, or expectations. Because Mars rules your 7th house, relationships become a major theme. If something in your marriage or partnership has been avoided, it may now come up for discussion, sometimes in a sharp or urgent manner. This doesn't mean endings. In many cases, Mars brings the opportunity to confront issues honestly and strengthen the relationship by removing hidden tensions. At a psychological level, Mars activates fears, buried emotions, or memories you may not have processed. The 8th house rules the subconscious, and with Mars as the 12th lord coming here, some Taurus individuals may experience mental restlessness, vivid dreams, or a desire to withdraw temporarily. This is also a period where you may try to understand the motivations of others more deeply, especially spouse, business partner, or close family. The desire to go beneath the surface becomes strong. Some will turn towards spiritual disciplines, meditation, astrology, psychology, or research-oriented subjects to make sense of what they are feeling. As Mars moves through Sagittarius, it forms conjunctions with Sun, Venus, and Mercury, intensifying the 8th house energy. Sun joining Mars on December 16th may bring a strong desire to assert control or manage situations with confidence, but it can also trigger power struggles with a partner or family member over money or responsibilities. Venus entering the 8th house on December 20th brings passion, intimacy, and deeper bonding opportunities, but it can also expose differences in values or desires within relationships. Venus placed with Mars and Sun complicates emotional balance. You may crave closeness intensely one moment and feel irritated or distant the next. The 8th house rules intimacy, and Venus here often marks a transformation in how you approach closeness, either a deepening of connection or a sudden realization that something needs to change. Mercury entering Sagittarius on December 29th adds a mental sharpness. Your analysis becomes strong, but your tone can become abrupt, which may create misunderstandings if not managed carefully. Mars aspects during this transit add significant layers. The 4th aspect to Pisces, your 11th house, targets your ambitions, social circles, and income from career. Saturn sitting in Pisces slows everything down. While you may want rapid progress or clear gains, Saturn forces a step-by-step approach. Friendships or group associations may feel slightly distant or complicated during this period, either due to differences in priorities or because you feel less inclined to socialize. Financial gains may come with delays or require more effort than expected. If you're working toward a long-term goal, Saturn's presence ensures that only consistent work produces rewards. Mars' quick push will meet Saturn's slow resistance, which can create frustration. But ultimately, Saturn brings structure to plans that would otherwise be rushed. Mars' 7th aspect to Gemini, your 2nd house, must be handled carefully because Jupiter is retrograding there. The 2nd house governs family, speech, savings, and your sense of stability. Mars' Drishti here can make conversations within the family more heated or blunt. You may feel the urge to address financial or personal issues directly, but Jupiter's retrograde motion suggests that misunderstandings may arise if you speak too quickly or assume too much. Money matters, savings, expenses, budgets, may require closer review. Avoid making impulsive financial decisions, especially those involving loans or investments. Since Gemini also rules travel and communication, be mindful of fast driving and hasty messaging, as these can create complications. Mars' 8th aspect to Cancer, your 3rd house, stirs courage but also impulsiveness. This may bring sudden decisions about travel, communication, writing projects, or skill development. Your interactions with siblings or neighbors may become more straightforward, and sometimes sharper. The third house also governs your willingness to take risks, and Mars' aggressive eighth aspect can make you more daring than usual. While this may help in competitive situations, it can also provoke unnecessary conflict if not balanced. If you are involved in writing, content creation, marketing, or communication-based work, this transit can push you toward bold decisions that reshape your direction. Other planetary influences color this transit. Rahu in Aquarius, in your 10th house, continues to shift your career path, pushing you toward visibility, ambition, or unusual professional opportunities. Your public reputation may see rapid changes, and your desire to break routine can intensify. But Rahu also exaggerates things. Be careful about work-related risks or taking on responsibilities that overwhelm you. Ketu in Leo, in your 4th house, creates detachment at home or a desire to reorganize your private life. Combined with Mars transit, you may feel less grounded than usual, or may want to change something about your living environment. The combined presence of Mars, Sun, Venus, and Mercury in your 8th house makes this period transformative. It's not about calm or comfort, it's about growth through clarity. Hidden matters come to light. Financial commitments must be discussed honestly. Relationships deepen through vulnerability or are tested through difficult conversations. Health-wise, you must be careful, especially regarding reproductive health, hormonal balance, or stress-related issues. The 8th house also rules surgeries or sudden medical attention, so avoid risky activities during this time. In practical terms, the best way to use this transit is to embrace change rather than resist it. You are entering a period where life pushes you inward, to reflect, to heal, to understand, and to reorganize. This transit is not here to harm you, it is here to make you stronger. If you stay patient, avoid impulsive decisions, and communicate thoughtfully, Mars in Sagittarius can help you break patterns that have held you back for years. It marks the start of a deeper understanding of yourself and the people around you. This transit is not just an event, it is a turning point. Use it wisely, and it can reshape your long-term emotional, financial, and relational stability in a meaningful way. For Gemini, Mars entering Sagittarius marks a dynamic and sensitive period, because Mars rules two areas that deeply influence day-to-day life: the 11th house of ambitions, gains, friends, networks, and long-term goals, and the 6th house of work, competition, health, debts, and disputes. When the planet governing these themes enters your 7th house of marriage, partnerships, clients, agreements, and public interactions, relationships and professional collaborations become the central field where this energy plays out. For many Gemini individuals, this transit becomes a time when relationship dynamics shift, clarity emerges, and truths that were unspoken earlier come to the surface. Because Mars moves into a fiery and straightforward sign like Sagittarius, you may find that you can no longer avoid what needs to be addressed with others, whether it is a spouse, business partner, client, competitor, or even the public. Mars in the 7th house generally increases interaction with people. You deal with more individuals, more conversations, more negotiations, and sometimes more friction. Since Mars is not the most peaceful planet for relationships, it can bring sharpness or impatience into partnerships. But because Mars rules your 11th house, it also brings motivation to work on shared goals, collaborate on practical matters, and push relationships toward clearer structure. Some Gemini individuals may feel more assertive in convincing others, leading teams, or taking charge within a partnership. At the same time, Mars ruling the 6th house suggests that unresolved conflicts, misunderstandings, or competition-based tensions may come up. If you've been holding back frustration with a partner or colleague, this transit may bring it to the surface. The intention of the transit is not to break relationships, but to bring honesty into them. For married individuals, this is a time to be mindful of tone and emotional response. Mars in the 7th house increases the desire to be heard and respected, but if communication becomes too direct or reactive, unnecessary arguments can follow. If managed well, this transit can also bring teamwork, shared enthusiasm, and a renewed sense of direction in marriage. Many couples may begin planning something significant: travel, financial changes, joint responsibilities, or long-term goals. Because Sagittarius represents honesty and expansion, you may feel inspired to broaden your relationship in some way, either emotionally or through shared experiences. At work, Mars may bring competition with colleagues or increased workload. You may feel the need to defend your ideas, protect your boundaries, or assert your position. If you are in business, this transit can attract more clients or interactions with the public, but you must remain patient. Deals may move forward quickly at first but slow down when Saturn's energy intersects. Attempts to finalize agreements should be handled carefully because sudden misunderstandings or mismatched expectations may appear. For those who work with large groups or depend on networking, Mars can bring an active flow of opportunities, but also the pressure to meet demands. The conjunct planets add layers. Sun joins Mars on December 16th, highlighting your public image and making you more visible, confident, and goal-oriented. You may take decisions faster than usual, which can be helpful but also risky if you act without considering others' viewpoints. Venus entering the 7th on December 20th softens the edges, bringing charm and attraction into partnerships. But because Venus sits with Sun and Mars, the sweetness doesn't come without occasional tension. Venus wants harmony while Sun and Mars push for dominance, and relationships may swing between closeness and irritation. Intimacy, attraction, and the desire to strengthen bonds can also grow during this time. Mercury's entry on December 29th enhances negotiation skills but also sharpens your speech. You may speak too bluntly at times, so balance is important. Mars aspects intensify the transit further. The fourth aspect. To Pisces, your 10th house highlights career pressure. Saturn is already moving through Pisces, slowing down progress and creating responsibilities that cannot be ignored. Mars aspect adds urgency, which may clash with Saturn's demand for patience. You may want quick solutions at work, but Saturn ensures that tasks take time. Authority figures may be demanding or unresponsive, requiring persistence rather than impulsive action. This combination can create stress, but it also builds long-term career stability if handled maturely. You may need to balance assertiveness with discipline, as pushing too hard may backfire. Mars' 7th aspect to Gemini, your first house, becomes especially important because Jupiter is retrograding here. Mars aiming directly at your first house means that your personality, confidence, and reactions become sharper. You may seem more bold, more direct, and sometimes more confrontational. Jupiter retrograde encourages introspection, so while Mars pushes you outward, Jupiter pulls you inward. This can create mixed feelings, wanting to act yet wanting to reflect. It's important to manage your physical energy because Mars' influence on the first house can increase restlessness or impatience. This is also a time when health needs attention, especially digestion, headaches, or stress-related issues. You may feel driven to push through tasks faster, but Jupiter warns you to think before acting. Mars' 8th aspect to Cancer, your second house, targets finances, speech, and family. Sudden expenses or quick financial decisions may show up, especially relating to shared resources or partnerships. You may feel the urge to speak strongly or take control in family matters, which can create tension if others feel unheard. Because Mars rules your 6th house, these issues may relate to work or responsibilities you share with others. It's important to avoid impulsive spending or arguments rooted in old family dynamics. Meanwhile, Rahu in Aquarius, positioned in your 9th house, intensifies your desire to expand your world. You may question your beliefs, seek new learning, or consider travel or higher study. Rahu adds boldness but can also push you toward extreme views if not grounded. Ketu in Leo, in your 3rd house, reduces your interest in small talk and superficial conversations. You may withdraw from casual interactions and focus only on meaningful exchanges. This sharpens your communication but can also make you more selective in whom you trust or engage with. This transit isn't purely conflict-driven. It offers big opportunities for growth in relationships, partnerships, business, and public life. It teaches you how to stand up for yourself without damaging connections. It pushes you to communicate clearly, negotiate maturely, and reevaluate what you expect from others. For many Gemini individuals, this can be the beginning of a more honest phase in relationships, one where roles become clearer and shared goals become stronger. Overall, the Mars transit through Sagittarius becomes a period of recalibration in your personal and professional dealings. Relationships evolve, work dynamics shift, responsibilities increase, and your own identity becomes sharper. If you stay mindful of tone, avoid rushing decisions, and balance assertiveness with understanding, this transit can strengthen your relationships and open new pathways in career and public life. For Cancer, Mars brings a powerful influence because it rules 2 significant houses, the 10th house of career, authority, responsibilities, reputation, and public image, and the 5th house of creativity, intelligence, education, romance, self-expression, and children. When the planet controlling your ambitions and your creative drive enters the 6th house of work, competition, health, duties, problem-solving, and disputes, life becomes active, demanding, and performance-oriented. This is a period where you are pushed to rise to challenges, confront situations directly, and reorganize areas of work and daily routine. Mars in the 6th house is strong by nature because it thrives in environments that require discipline, competition, and problem-solving. For Cancer individuals, this transit can be highly productive, but it also requires consistent effort and careful handling of temper, stress, and communication. The 6th house transit brings a rise in daily responsibilities. You may find yourself juggling multiple tasks at once or dealing with deadlines that demand quick action. Work becomes fast-paced and sometimes chaotic, but Mars gives the determination to manage it. If you've been waiting for a chance to prove your capabilities or establish your authority at work, this transit can bring opportunities through intense effort. Since Mars rules your 10th house, professional matters become the main field of activity. You may take on new responsibilities, lead projects, or push yourself toward a promotion. In some cases, this transit forces recognition by making you step into roles you were avoiding. Even if work becomes overwhelming, Mars ensures you don't back down from challenges. With Mars also ruling your 5th house, matters related to creativity, education, or children may require your attention. Students may feel a surge of motivation to compete, prepare for exams, or focus on academic goals. Creative individuals may become more productive, launching new ideas or expressing themselves boldly. Parents may need to focus more on children, whether in terms of guidance, scheduling, or discipline. Romantic matters may feel intense or demanding, as the 5th house energy becomes more action-driven and less patient. Mars in Sagittarius encourages fairness, justice, and moral clarity. Many Cancer individuals may find themselves defending their rights or standing up for others. You may address old workplace issues you previously ignored. Disputes can arise, but Mars gives you the upper hand as long as you remain calm and strategic. This is also a period where debts, loans, or financial responsibilities need to be dealt with directly. If you've been avoiding paperwork, medical checkups, or administrative tasks, Mars pushes you to take action now. Mars in the 6th house requires caution regarding health. Overworking, irregular sleep, and suppressed stress can affect well-being. If you have issues related to digestion, inflammation, or blood, this is a time to stay vigilant. Regular exercise, proper rest, and a disciplined daily routine become important. Mars gives you the strength to overcome health challenges, but only if you don't push yourself beyond limits. The conjunctions occurring in Sagittarius intensify this period. Sun joins Mars on December 16th, making your actions visible and increasing your sense of responsibility. You may feel pride in your work but may also struggle with authority figures or colleagues if disagreements arise. Venus enters Sagittarius on December 20th, bringing support at work but also a desire to be appreciated. Venus softens Mars a little, making collaboration easier, but since it is conjunct Sun and Mars, diplomacy may not always be steady. Romantic matters may require patience if schedules or stress create distance. Mercury's entry on December 29th sharpens communication but also increases pressure on your mind due to workload and fast decision-making. You may need to review documents carefully, handle communication professionally, and avoid speaking impulsively. Mars aspects add significant layers to the transit. The 4th aspect to Pisces, your 9th house, brings attention to long-distance travel, education, legal matters, and your belief system. Saturn is sitting in Pisces, slowing things down. Mars' push toward action meets Saturn's demand for patience, which can create frustration if you expect quick results in learning, travel, or dealing with mentors. Plans may change or require extra effort. This period tests your faith and your willingness to work systematically toward long-term goals. If you are dealing with academic matters or visas, expect delays but eventual progress with sustained effort. Mars' 7th aspect on Gemini, your 12th house, becomes even more important because Jupiter is retrograding there. This makes your subconscious more active, affecting sleep, mental clarity, and rest. You may think a lot about the past, unfinished matters, or unresolved issues. Expenses may rise temporarily, especially due to health or travel. Communication must be managed carefully, as you may feel more direct than usual and unintentionally hurt others' feelings. Mars and Jupiter interacting across the 6th and 12th axis highlight the need to balance action with rest and to avoid rushing into decisions before fully understanding the consequences. Speedy driving, careless messaging, or impulsive reactions can lead to unnecessary trouble. Mars' 8th aspect to Cancer, your first house, is one of the most impactful parts of this transit. This energy targets your confidence, physical stamina, and emotional balance. You may feel more reactive, more sensitive to criticism, or more driven to take control of situations around you. This can be a blessing if you channel the energy into exercise, work, or discipline, but it may cause strain if you allow irritations to burst into conflict. Your body may also feel the weight of this transit, so take care of your health and avoid risky activities. You may feel the desire to push yourself hard, but your body will demand rest at the right time. Meanwhile, Rahu in Aquarius, placed in your 8th house, adds a layer of unpredictability to shared resources, partnerships, or long-term commitments. Some unexpected events may require quick decisions. Ketu in Leo, in your 2nd house, urges you to manage finances with awareness and avoid disconnected spending or careless speech. Overall, Mars transit in Sagittarius energizes your daily routine, work environment, responsibilities, and problem-solving skills. It brings challenges but also gives you the tools to overcome them. This is a period where you can make solid progress in career and personal development if you stay disciplined and avoid reacting emotionally. You are being pushed to strengthen your routines, take charge of situations, and build resilience. If handled wisely, this transit can help you remove obstacles that have been lingering for months and reshape your work life in a meaningful way. For Leo, this Mars transit ignites an important and defining period because Mars rules 2 houses that shape your direction in life: the 9th house of fortune, higher learning, long-distance travel, dharma, teachers, and belief systems, and the 4th house of home, comfort, real estate, mother, and emotional stability. When the planet governing your sense of purpose and your private foundation moves into the 5th house of creativity, children, romance, intelligence, education, passion, and self-expression, life becomes vibrant, active, and charged with a desire to create, perform, and express. Sagittarius is a fire sign, and Leo is a fire first house. The combination of Mars, fire, and the 5th house produces strong motivation, creativity, and desire. You may feel driven to push forward with personal goals, take bold risks, and lead with your ideas. The 5th house represents everything that flows directly from your heart, your creations, your passions, your ideas, and your personal expressions. With Mars entering this space, you feel energized, competitive, and eager to take ownership of the areas of life that matter deeply to you. For some Leo individuals, this is a period of creative breakthroughs, writing, performing, designing, or producing work that carries confidence and boldness. For others, this becomes a time when romantic life picks up, whether through new connections, rekindled passion, or deeper involvement in a current relationship. The 5th house also relates to children, and parents may find themselves more involved in their kids' education, routine, or activities. You may adopt a more proactive approach with children, guiding them firmly and encouraging their talents. Because Mars also rules your 9th house, this transit brings strong motivation toward knowledge, learning, and spiritual or philosophical pursuits. You may push yourself to learn something new, travel for study or inspiration, or connect with teachers and guides who help you expand your worldview. You may also become more protective or passionate about your beliefs, which can lead to inspiring conversations or, if handled poorly, unnecessary arguments. The transit pushes you to act on your principles rather than simply think about them. Yet Mars in the 5th house must be handled carefully. It sharpens your reactions, especially in matters involving creativity, love, or children. You may feel more competitive or easily irritated if things don't go your way. Romantic matters may feel intense. Attraction is stronger, but so is impatience. You may need to watch how much you expect from others, both emotionally and mentally. The desire to express yourself honestly can be liberating, but it requires awareness so that you don't become too direct or dismissive. As the transit progresses, the conjunctions in Sagittarius add more complexity. Sun joins Mars on December 16th, creating a fiery combination that strongly influences your expression, romantic life, and desire to perform or lead. You may feel confident, driven, and eager to take charge, but this combination can also make you more reactive or stubborn. Venus entering the 5th house on December 20th adds charm and creativity, but because Venus sits with Mars and the Sun, Relationships may feel lively but also unpredictable. Passion rises, but so do expectations. This is a transformative period for romantic life and self-expression. Mercury's entry on December 29th enhances your communication and learning, but it also increases the speed with which you make decisions. Be mindful of the tone you use, especially with loved ones. Mars aspects bring additional influence. The fourth aspect to Pisces, your 8th house, interacts with Saturn, which is currently transiting there. This combination of Mars' urgency and Saturn's slow-moving deliberation affects joint finances, deeper emotions, and long-term commitments. Saturn slows you down, which can feel frustrating when Mars wants fast results. Matters related to shared resources, secrets, or long-term plans may demand patience and disciplined effort. You may also feel pressure to handle responsibilities that you previously postponed. Health matters connected to stress, digestion, or hormonal balance may require attention. Saturn makes this an important time for internal maturity. Mars' 7th aspect to Gemini, your 11th house, is especially important because Jupiter is retrograding there. Gemini rules your social circles, ambitions, networks, and gains. Mars adds speed and assertiveness, while Jupiter retrograde encourages reflection and revision. You may feel more vocal in groups or online spaces, but you must be cautious because your passionate tone could be misinterpreted as aggression or dominance. Networking may bring opportunities, but they require patience and a careful strategy rather than rushed decisions. Friendships may go through temporary friction if communication becomes too sharp. Financial gains may fluctuate, especially if they depend on collaborative ventures. Mars' 8th aspect to Cancer, your 12th house, influences rest, sleep, isolation, subconscious worries, and expenses. This aspect can bring a desire to retreat at times, even though the 5th house transit is lively and active. You may also need to manage your sleep patterns carefully, as Mars' influence can increase restlessness or overthinking at night. Unexpected expenses may arise, especially related to children, travel, or creative pursuits. It's important not to make impulsive decisions just because you are feeling pressure or excitement. If you are traveling abroad or working on something behind the scenes, this aspect pushes you to take things seriously. Rahu in Aquarius, placed in your 7th house, continues to influence partnerships, making relationships unconventional or giving you interactions with people from different backgrounds, beliefs, or lifestyles. This can be supportive of your growth, but Rahu's unpredictable nature can also cause confusion or sudden shifts in partnership dynamics. Ketu in Leo, in your 1st house, increases introspection. You may withdraw at times even while dealing with outwardly active circumstances. This combination can make you more selective about what you invest your energy into and less interested in superficial socializing. This Mars transit is not just about excitement or activity. It marks a creative and emotional turning point. You are being pushed to step into your power through your talents, your education, your principles, and your personal expressions. While this can bring strong achievements, it also demands maturity in handling relationships, communication, and expectations. Romantic life becomes passionate but needs patience. Children may need structure and guidance. Creative projects may flourish, but they require effort and discipline. And even though you may feel confident, you must stay aware of how your energy affects others. Overall, this is a dynamic and highly productive period for Leo individuals. You are entering a phase where you reconnect with your strengths, passions, and creative identity. If you manage the fiery energy responsibly and avoid reacting impulsively, this transit can lead to breakthroughs in love, education, creative work, and personal confidence. For Virgo, Mars governs the 3rd house and the 8th house, 2 areas connected with courage, initiative, hidden matters, deep analysis, sudden changes, and persistent effort. When Mars moves into your 4th house, the focus shifts to home life, personal environment, family matters, property, and your sense of inner grounding. This is a transit where life becomes activity-driven inside your private space. The 4th house usually prefers peace, routine, and predictability, but Mars introduces movement, urgency, and decisions that cannot be postponed. Because Sagittarius is a fire sign, and Mars is comfortable working through direct action, your home life may feel busier, more demanding, or more dynamic than usual. Mars in the 4th house often brings a desire to reorganize or change something inside your living space. You may repair things, shift furniture, renovate, or simply feel that you need more control over your surroundings. Since Mars rules your 3rd house, communication inside the home becomes assertive. You may take charge of family matters, clarify responsibilities, or address topics that were previously ignored. While this can help you create order, it may also lead to friction if conversations become too direct. The third house influence encourages decisive speech, and you might deliver your thoughts more firmly than intended. Because Mars also rules your 8th house, matters linked to shared assets, deeper concerns, family patterns, and past issues may resurface. The 4th house represents your roots, and the 8th house rules buried layers of life. When these areas connect through transit, you may become more aware of long-standing issues within the family structure or something that needs closure. This can be a productive time for resolving old obligations, handling inheritances, or completing tasks connected to property or family responsibilities. You must take a mindful approach, as the 8th house influence can introduce unpredictability. The conjunctions occurring in Sagittarius intensify the entire period. Sun joins Mars on December 16th, increasing your need to take control at home. You may feel more protective toward family members, or you may want to assert your authority in situations that require clarity. Since Sun and Mars together heighten drive and impatience, you must avoid reacting too quickly when facing disagreements. Venus enters the 4th house on December 20th, encouraging harmony, comfort, and beautification of your home. Yet Venus sitting with Sun and Mars can create alternating periods of warmth and friction, depending on how conversations unfold. Mercury enters Sagittarius on December 29th, strengthening communication but also speeding up thought processes. Your mind may race with plans, solutions, and ideas. This can help you resolve domestic matters but also cause overanalysis if you're not grounded. Mars' 4th aspect targets your 7th house, Pisces, where Saturn is currently transiting. This combination brings attention to partnerships, commitments, and agreements. Saturn is already demanding maturity and responsibility in these areas. Mars' aspect pushes for decisions, while Saturn slows the pace. You may feel tested within partnerships, not necessarily in a negative way, but in a way that reveals areas needing improvement. You may recognize patterns within relationships that require effort, honesty, and patience to address. This period can strengthen partnerships if handled with humility, but impatience can create unnecessary distance. Saturn ultimately sets the pace, so steady effort, not immediate reaction, is key. Mars' 7th aspect goes to Gemini, your 10th house, where Jupiter is retrograding. This influence strongly activates your career and public life. Mars pushes you to take initiative professionally, while Jupiter retrograde encourages recalibration of long-term goals. You may rethink your approach to work or reconsider whether your current role truly aligns with your skills and aspirations. At the same time, Mars' aspect may create urgency or a desire to act quickly, which must be balanced with Jupiter's slower, reflective movement. Interactions with superiors may become assertive, so diplomacy is important. You may also face increased workload or leadership responsibility, which can be beneficial but demanding. Mars' 8th aspect targets Cancer, your 11th house of gains, ambitions, networks, and friendships. This influence can bring fluctuations in social circles or unexpected changes in your long-term plans. You may revise goals, distance yourself from certain groups, or form new alliances. The 11th house also relates to financial gains, so you may experience shifts in income or changes in how you pursue financial stability. Mars can introduce temporary tension within friendships or group settings if conversations become too forceful. Staying calm and measured will help you navigate this area effectively. Rahu in Aquarius, placed in your 6th house, adds another layer of intensity to your daily routine. You may feel compelled to take on more work, improve your skill set, or tackle long-standing challenges. Rahu increases your ambition in the 6th house, but it can also lead to overcommitment if boundaries are not set. This is a time when you may deal with competition, tight deadlines, or demanding tasks. If handled well, you can rise above the noise and come out stronger. Ketu in Leo, in your 12th house, encourages a selective approach to rest, solitude, and withdrawal from certain situations. While this can give you clarity, ensure it doesn't lead to avoidance of important matters. This whole transit pushes you toward establishing greater stability at home while simultaneously reshaping how you operate in the outer world. You may feel an urge to create a peaceful living space or to redefine your relationship with comfort and routine. At the same time, Mars stimulates career demands, partnership responsibilities, and personal goals in various directions. The challenge lies in balancing the private and public sides of life. Overreactions can create temporary disturbances, but thoughtful decision-making can turn this transit into a period of progress. You may also feel drawn to research, analysis, or deeper thinking due to Mars' rulership of the 8th house. This transit is excellent for understanding root causes of patterns, whether in family, career, or personal behavior. Any work involving investigation, planning, restructuring, or problem-solving can flourish during this time. Despite the pressure, this transit offers a chance to strengthen your foundation. Your home environment can become more organized, your career direction clearer, and relationships more grounded if handled patiently. Mars in the 4th house may feel intense at times, but it also gives you the ability to take charge of areas that truly matter. With steady effort, you can turn this period into a productive restructuring phase that improves your long-term stability, both at home and in your overall life direction. For Libra, Mars plays a major role because it rules two important houses, the 7th house of partnerships, marriage, public life, agreements, and business connections, and the 2nd house of family, wealth, speech, savings, and personal values. When Mars moves into your 3rd house of communication, courage, skills, short travels, marketing, siblings, and personal initiative, you step into a phase where your actions, words, and decisions become more forceful and active. Mars is comfortable in the 3rd house because this is the house of effort, and Mars is the planet of action. For Libra individuals, this transit boosts confidence and determination, helping you push forward with plans that you may have been delaying. At the same time, because Mars rules your relationship and family houses, your interactions with people become central to how this transit plays out. The 3rd house is one of the most energetic houses in astrology. It represents how you communicate, assert yourself, and express your willpower. With Mars here, you may feel more courageous and proactive. You may take the lead in discussions, negotiations, or collaborative projects. Your communication becomes more direct, and at times, more intense. This can be helpful if you need to advocate for yourself or stand your ground, but it may also cause friction if the tone becomes too sharp. Because Mars rules the 7th house, your spouse or partner may notice this shift in your energy. You may express yourself more freely, but you must remember that relationships need balance and tact, qualities that Mars doesn't always prioritize. This transit also brings strong initiative in business or professional pursuits. You may take steps to expand your work, launch a project, or collaborate with others. Since Mars also rules your 2nd house, finances may be directly influenced by your actions during this period. You may pursue new sources of income or take on responsibilities that help boost financial stability. You must be careful with impulsive decisions involving money. Avoid rushing into risky investments or spending impulsively, as Mars increases speed but not necessarily clarity. Your interactions with siblings or neighbors may become more active, whether through conversations, visits, or shared responsibilities. If there were unresolved issues, they may surface now, giving you a chance to address them honestly. The 3rd house also rules short-distance travel, and Mars can increase movement, quick trips, errands, or frequent travel related to work. You must drive carefully, as Mars can increase haste and reduce patience on the road. Because Mars rules your 7th and 2nd houses, this transit also affects your relationship and family dynamics. Communication with your spouse may require attention, as misunderstandings can arise if things are said too quickly or too directly. For some Libra individuals, this period can bring opportunity to strengthen communication, especially if both partners are willing to listen. For others, it may highlight differences in approach or expectations. Money-related discussions within family may also come up, requiring calm and organized handling. The conjunctions occurring in Sagittarius intensify the overall energy. Sun joins Mars on December 16th, making you more confident but also more assertive. You may feel a stronger need to prove yourself or take control in discussions and decisions. While this boosts willpower, it also increases the possibility of ego clashes, especially with close people. Venus entering Sagittarius on December 20th adds charm to your communication, but because it sits with Mars and the Sun, relationships may swing between harmony and tension. You might feel affectionate one day and irritated the next, simply because the fire energy is so strong. Mercury's entry on December 29th sharpens your mind and helps you express ideas clearly, but it may also make you more impatient with slow or indecisive people. Mars aspects bring additional dynamics. The 4th aspect to Pisces, your 6th house, interacts with Saturn, who is already transiting there. The sixth house governs work, duties, health, and conflict resolution. With Saturn slowing things down and Mars pushing for quick results, this area may feel tense. You may want to finish tasks faster or fix problems immediately, but Saturn forces a slow, steady approach. At work, you may face increased responsibilities, competition, or disagreements. This period requires patience, discipline, and a willingness to handle issues thoroughly rather than rushing through them. Health matters, especially stress-related issues or digestion, should be monitored carefully. Mars' 7th aspect to Gemini, your 9th house, becomes especially important because Jupiter is retrograding there. You may find yourself questioning your beliefs or exploring new ideas through study, travel, or long-distance communication. But Mars' influence can make conversations about religion, philosophy, or personal viewpoints more heated than usual. Avoid pushing your opinions too strongly, as this can create unnecessary tension with teachers, mentors, family members, or authority figures. Travel plans may face revisions or delays, requiring flexibility. Mars' 8th aspect to Cancer, your 10th house, directly influences career and public life. This aspect brings drive and ambition, but also pressure. You may feel the urge to take bold steps at work, changing roles, asserting yourself, or pushing for recognition. But the 8th aspect can bring sudden shifts or unexpected challenges. Professional relationships need careful handling, especially with superiors. Avoid power struggles and try to remain professional even when work becomes demanding. If you are involved in leadership roles, this aspect pushes you to take decisions that require confidence and clarity. Meanwhile, Rahu in Aquarius, positioned in your 5th house, increases creativity, desire for recognition, and interest in new experiences. This can be a good time to explore creative skills, but Rahu can also make you impatient or restless. Ketu in Leo, in your 11th house, encourages detachment from superficial friendships or goals. You may realize that certain social circles no longer align with your values, while new and more meaningful connections enter your life. Overall, this Mars transit activates your ability to express yourself, set boundaries, and pursue your ambitions. But it also tests your patience, communication style, and emotional balance. You may feel a strong desire to take charge, be heard, and move ahead quickly, but you must ensure that you do not burn bridges or create unnecessary tension in relationships. If managed with awareness and calmness, this transit can help you make progress in career, finances, creative work, and partnerships. The key is to channel Mars' action-oriented energy into productive efforts rather than reactive impulses. In many ways, this transit marks a turning point for Libra individuals, a time when courage, clarity, and sharpened communication help you move forward, while patience and understanding protect your relationships and long-term stability. For Scorpio, Mars is your 1st house lord, the planet that defines your direction, strength, confidence, and instinct. It also rules your 6th house, which governs work, daily routine, health, struggle, competition, and problem-solving. When Mars moves into your 2nd house in Sagittarius, it activates a period of decisive speech, financial adjustments, stronger family involvement, and a noticeable shift in how you assert your values. The 2nd house governs wealth, resources, family responsibilities, and communication style. Mars entering this house makes these topics active, demanding, and impossible to ignore. Since Sagittarius is a fire sign, this transit amplifies your drive to secure stability and confront issues head-on. Mars in the 2nd house often makes your speech sharper and more straightforward. You may speak with conviction, especially in discussions involving money, family expectations, or shared responsibilities. This can help you address long-pending matters, but it can also create friction if you react too quickly. Because Mars rules your 6th house, your approach to family discussions may take on a problem-solving tone. You may feel compelled to manage, reorganize, or fix situations that have been left unresolved. This is a productive influence if handled with tact, but you must avoid sounding confrontational or impatient. Mars also influences your finances during this transit. You may become more conscious of how you earn, spend, save, and invest. Some Scorpio individuals may feel motivated to create stronger financial foundations, settle debts, or pursue new income opportunities. Others may deal with rising expenses, especially if they relate to work, travel, or family obligations. With Mars, financial decisions can feel urgent, but rash choices may create complications later. You may experience moments of financial assertiveness, wanting to handle things your own way, but balancing confidence with caution will yield better results. The conjunctions taking place in Sagittarius intensify this transit significantly. Sun joins Mars on December 16th, increasing your influence within family or financial decisions. You may become more protective or more controlling, depending on the circumstances. Sun, Mars together can bring clarity, but they also raise your response threshold. You may notice you are less tolerant of ambiguity or vague commitments. Venus enters the second house on December 20th, encouraging smoother interactions and improving financial opportunities. But Venus caught between Sun and Mars may also produce shifts in your comfort level. You may desire harmony, yet feel compelled to take bold positions. Mercury enters Sagittarius on December 29th, sharpening your thinking and helping you express complex ideas more easily. The combination of Mars, Mercury, and Sun can give you strong persuasive ability, but if not used wisely, it can come across as forceful. Mars' fourth aspect targets your fifth house, Pisces, where Saturn is currently transiting. This is a crucial influence. Saturn brings seriousness and discipline to creativity, studies, romantic life, and matters related to children. Mars' aspect introduces urgency, while Saturn requires patience. You may feel motivated to take certain decisions but held back by circumstances or responsibilities. For students, this can be a period of hard work and focused effort rather than quick results. If you are involved in creative fields, you may feel the need to refine your work or restructure your approach. In matters of romance, Saturn may test commitment, while Mars may push for clarity. Balancing firmness with patience is essential here. Mars' seventh aspect goes to Gemini, your eighth house, where Jupiter is retrograding. This is a deeply transformative influence. The eighth house governs shared resources, deeper bonds, inheritance, psychological patterns, and long-term agreements. Mars' aspect can highlight issues in these areas and bring them to the forefront. Jupiter retrograde encourages reassessment of long-term commitments, shared finances, or trust-related matters. You may need to revisit financial agreements or understand hidden dynamics within close relationships. This transit can also awaken your investigative side, encouraging you to understand situations thoroughly before responding. Avoid impulsive reactions, as the eighth house intensifies everything Mars touches. Mars' eighth aspect targets Cancer, your ninth house, influencing your beliefs, teachers, long-distance travels, and life direction. This can bring shifts in your worldview. You may feel a stronger need to defend your principles or assert your opinions. Travel plans may face sudden changes or require more planning than usual. You may also experience friction with mentors or ideological differences with others. Since Mars is connected to your sixth house, there may be conflict between your workload and your desire to expand your horizons. Avoid reacting strongly in belief-driven discussions. Clarity and patience will bring better understanding. Meanwhile, Rahu in Aquarius occupies your fourth house, stirring your living environment, property matters, or family dynamics. You may desire more independence at home or feel drawn to reorganize your space. Rahu increases ambition, but in the fourth house it can also introduce unpredictability. You may consider relocation, renovations, or changes in your domestic environment. Ketu in Leo, placed in your 10th house, shifts your connection to career goals. You may feel detached from certain ambitions or professional roles that no longer align with your personal values. This does not weaken your progress. Rather, it pushes you toward a more meaningful career path. Health also becomes important because Mars rules your 6th house. While Mars transiting the 2nd house does not directly harm health, the increased stress around financial or family matters may indirectly affect your stamina. You may feel pressure to maintain order across multiple areas of life. Ensuring proper rest, diet, and routine will help you sustain your productivity. This entire transit emphasizes clarity, correction, and grounded decisions. Mars encourages you to identify what is worth protecting, what needs restructuring, and what requires a firm stance. Money, family involvement, and long-term stability become central themes. You may reorganize your priorities, take charge of financial matters, settle disputes, or address responsibilities that you previously put aside. Your communication becomes sharper, your decisions more decisive, and your actions more direct. But the key to maximizing this transit lies in tempering speed with strategy. Mars gives you strength, but Saturn and Jupiter ask you to think carefully. If you combine these energies wisely, using Mars to take action and Saturn-Jupiter to refine the direction, this period can bring significant improvement in stability, confidence, and long-term groundwork. Overall, Mars in Sagittarius for Scorpio individuals brings a phase of purposeful action, deeper understanding of family patterns, sharper communication, and stronger financial judgment. You may feel driven to take control of key areas of life, and if done with awareness, this transit becomes a powerful stepping stone toward greater stability and maturity. For Sagittarius, this Mars transit is one of the most important cycles of the year because Mars enters your first house, influencing your body, personality, mindset, decisions, and overall direction in life. Mars rules your fifth house of creativity, education, romance, intelligence, children, and speculative activities, and your 12th house of rest, spirituality, isolation, foreign lands, sleep, and expenses. When Mars enters Sagittarius, the sign you naturally identify with, its impact becomes deeply personal. You become more expressive, more independent, and more action-oriented. Confidence rises, but so does impatience. This transit often marks a period where your decisions shape the next several months, because the first house influences everything in your chart. Mars in the first house brings a surge of motivation. You may feel excited to start new routines, pursue goals that were on hold, or take bold steps in personal or professional life. Physical energy increases, making this a good time to start exercise, sports, or anything requiring initiative. You must manage the impulsive side of Mars. Acting too quickly or reacting without thinking can lead to avoidable issues. With the 12th house rulership of Mars, rest must be balanced with action. You may push yourself hard but must remember to recover, or you may experience burnout. Because Mars also rules your 5th house, creative efforts strengthen, and your desire to express yourself boldly increases. Students may feel more competitive and focused on academic goals. People involved in creative professions, writing, teaching, performing, content creation, may feel a strong push to produce or launch something new. Romantic life becomes more passionate, but also more unpredictable. You may crave excitement in relationships, but you must avoid pushing others with impatience or unrealistic expectations. Parents may find themselves taking a more active role in their children's routines, education, or development. The Mars transit becomes more intense because of the planetary conjunctions happening in your first house. Sun joins Mars on December 16th, amplifying visibility, confidence, and leadership qualities, but also increasing ego, irritation, and defensiveness. You may feel more protective of your identity and more reactive to criticism. Venus enters your first house on December 20th, bringing charm, attractiveness, and social appeal, but Venus caught between Mars and Sun can produce alternating waves of charm, intensity, and sudden temper. Relationships may feel passionate and magnetic but also volatile. Mercury enters Sagittarius on December 29th, sharpening your thinking but also making communication more direct and unfiltered. You may speak boldly, sometimes too boldly. This is good for honesty but risky for conflict if you're not mindful. With Mars in your first house, this transit influences your physical appearance and energy. You may want to change your style, work on your body, or alter your routine. Mars also pushes you to take control of your environment, organize things your way, and assert your opinions. If you've felt stuck or hesitant, this transit helps you break inertia. But you must manage your reactions, as Mars in the first house can make you seem more confrontational than you intend. Mars aspects during this transit bring layered impacts. The fourth aspect to Pisces, your fourth house, interacts with Saturn, which is currently slow-moving and heavy. This can affect your emotional stability, home environment, family matters, or property issues. Mars pushes for change while Saturn slows things down, creating a mix of urgency and delay. Family responsibilities may increase, or situations at home may require patience and maturity. You may want quick solutions, but Saturn demands consistent effort and a calm approach. Property matters may progress but with delays or extra steps. You may also feel internal pressure, moments of frustration or restlessness at home, because Mars fire clashes with Pisces' emotional depth and Saturn's restrictions. Mars 7th aspect to Gemini, your 7th house, becomes highly influential because Jupiter is retrograde there. Relationships and partnerships become more active, more demanding, and more honest. This can be a period of growth if handled well, or of tension if impatience dominates. You may feel the desire to assert your needs within your relationship. Your partner may also show stronger reactions. Business partnerships also require careful communication. Jupiter retrograde encourages reconsideration of commitments, while Mars pushes for immediate clarity. Avoid aggressive words, rush decisions, or confrontation-driven conversations. If you handle discussions with maturity, this transit can strengthen relationships by highlighting what needs attention. Mars' 8th aspect to Cancer, your 8th house, influences shared finances, emotional depth, intimacy, and transformation. This aspect can stir vulnerability or bring hidden issues to the surface. Avoid demanding emotional reassurance or reacting too quickly to sensitive topics. If you're dealing with joint resources, taxes, loans, or financial agreements, handle everything carefully and avoid risks. On the positive side, this aspect can push you toward deep personal transformation. You may uncover habits or fears that you can finally let go of. But you must stay grounded, especially as Cancer is a deeply sensitive sign. Meanwhile, Rahu in Aquarius, placed in your 3rd house, intensifies your desire for freedom, creativity, and communication. You may feel drawn to writing, public speaking, travel, or networking. But Rahu's hunger can make you take on too much at once, so prioritize your efforts. Ketu in Leo, in your 9th house, makes you question long-held beliefs or detach from rigid viewpoints. Combined with Mars in your 1st house, this can create shifts in your worldview or your life philosophy. This Mars transit also influences health and daily routine. The 12th house rulership can disturb sleep patterns, and Mars in the 1st house can increase physical restlessness. You may feel more energetic during the day but struggle to unwind at night. Mindfulness, exercise, and grounding practices can help balance this energy. Avoid overworking yourself, especially as your enthusiasm may make you take on more than you can comfortably handle. One of the strongest themes of this transit is self-rediscovery. With Mars, Sun, Mercury, and Venus all in your 1st house, you undergo a period of personal realignment, emotionally, mentally, physically, and spiritually. You may experience moments of clarity followed by bursts of impatience. You may feel ready to make bold decisions, but you must avoid impulsiveness. This is a time to take charge of your life, but also to act with responsibility and awareness. Overall, Mars in Sagittarius for Sagittarius individuals brings action, movement, confidence, and a strong desire for independence. It also brings moments of restlessness, strong opinions, and potential conflicts if reactions are not managed. If you stay mindful, channel your energy into constructive goals, and balance action with reflection, this transit can help you transform your identity, strengthen your personal direction, and set the tone for a powerful year ahead. For Capricorn, Mars plays an important role because it rules the 4th house and the 11th house, 2 areas that deeply influence stability, ambitions, and the way you interact with groups. When Mars enters your 12th house, a very subtle and inward-focused zone, the energy becomes more private, introspective, and strategically controlled. This is not a loud transit. It works behind the scenes and affects your mindset, plans, sleep, foreign connections, expenses, and your ability to release old habits. Mars in the 12th house can make you feel both restless and deeply reflective at the same time. Since Sagittarius is a fire sign, this transit introduces movement in a part of life where Capricorn normally prefers structure and certainty. Mars ruling your 4th house means matters connected to home, family, property, and inner grounding get activated. But because it transits the 12th house, many of these themes move into the background. You might feel the need for more privacy at home, or you may want to disconnect from certain family situations to regain clarity. Some Capricorn individuals may consider spending more time away from home, either due to travel, work, or simply needing space to think. Matters related to land, vehicles, or living arrangements may require quiet planning rather than immediate execution. The 12th house is associated with release, so you might let go of something tied to home or personal comfort. Mars also rules your 11th house of gains, networks, friends, and long-term goals. With Mars transiting the 12th house, you may disconnect temporarily from your usual social circles, either intentionally or because of outer circumstances. This is not a negative sign. It simply means you are filtering who you give your time and energy to. You may reassess friends, collaborators, and the people who influence your plans. The desire to step back allows you to understand your priorities more clearly. It is also possible that you quietly work on something that will eventually bring gains later, after Mars leaves the 12th house and enters Capricorn next. Mars in the 12th house often disrupts sleep, either because of active thinking or because your schedule becomes irregular. You may wake up more frequently, think more deeply at night, or feel pressure without knowing exactly why. This is a classic effect of Mars in this position. You may also feel more alert, more aware of your instincts, and more sensitive to your environment. This can be used creatively if you turn this increased awareness into productive thinking, planning, or preparation for upcoming moves. The conjunctions in Sagittarius intensify this internal activity. Sun joins Mars on December 16th, bringing a strong urge for solitude and personal space. You may want time alone to process thoughts, recharge, or evaluate life choices. The Sun-Mars duo can also increase frustration if you feel restricted or misunderstood. You might hold back words, rethink decisions, or attempt to solve problems quietly rather than outwardly. Venus entering Sagittarius on December 20th creates mixed experiences. On one hand, it softens interactions and encourages self-care. On the other, Venus caught between Sun and Mars can create confusion in relationships, or a desire to distance yourself temporarily from people who drain your energy. Mercury entering Sagittarius on December 29th boosts analysis and deep thinking. You may revisit old issues, question previous decisions, or plan something significant for the upcoming months. Mars aspects create important activity in other areas of the chart. The fourth aspect from Sagittarius goes to Pisces, your third house, where Saturn is transiting. This combination produces a push-pull effect. Mars encourages action, quick decisions, and communication, while Saturn restricts, slows, and demands caution. You may feel the urge to speak your mind or pursue new ideas, but Saturn advises patience. Relationships with siblings, neighbors, or colleagues may feel tense if communication becomes rushed or emotionally loaded. Writing, learning, or skill building may progress slowly but steadily. This is a time to work through mental and emotional blocks in communication. Mars' seventh aspect goes to Gemini, your sixth house, where Jupiter is currently retrograding. This directly affects work, obligations, competition, and health. The sixth house becomes active, meaning workload may increase, or your daily routine may become more demanding. Jupiter retrograde encourages restructuring of your approach to work, while Mars pushes you to confront tasks head-on. This is a good time to settle disputes, clear backlogs, or strengthen your routine. But you must avoid reacting sharply with colleagues or superiors, as minor disagreements can escalate quickly. Health matters should also be taken seriously. Mars increases heat in the body, and sleep issues from the 12th house transit can add to fatigue. You may need to monitor diet, rest, and stress levels. Mars' 8th aspect targets Cancer, your 7th house of relationships and partnerships. This aspect can stir unpredictability in partnerships. You may notice fluctuations in your interactions with spouse, partner, or business associates. Conversations may feel heavier, misunderstandings may arise, or you may notice your partner acting more sensitive or reactive. Because Mars is operating from the quiet 12th house, you may keep your thoughts to yourself, which can create distance if not communicated properly. The key is to maintain steady communication and avoid reacting impulsively. If you handle this transit with maturity, you can uncover deeper truths in your relationships and strengthen them through honesty. Rahu in Aquarius, in your second house, increases focus on finances, speech, family matters, and personal values. You may think differently about your income sources or approach to wealth. Rahu may tempt you to take risks, but with Mars in the 12th house, it is better to plan first and act later. Ketu in Leo, in your 8th house, increases detachment from crises or intense situations. You may feel less affected by drama or turbulence around you, which can be helpful during a Mars transit that often triggers activity beneath the surface. This Mars transit is ultimately about preparation. You are clearing mental clutter, restructuring your priorities, and quietly positioning yourself for a fresh cycle of action when Mars enters Capricorn next. This is a window for retreat, planning, research, and strategic withdrawal. It is a time when you strengthen yourself behind the scenes, rather than pushing outward. You may release an old habit, a long-standing fear, a draining relationship, or a goal that no longer holds meaning. These releases pave the way for new opportunities in the upcoming months. Professionally, this period may feel slower or more confusing, but it is building the foundation for stronger progress later. Personally, you may crave silence, reduced commitments, or deeper connection to your intuition. If you honor these needs, you will navigate the transit smoothly. Overall, Mars in the 12th house for Capricorn individuals creates a phase of quiet transformation, strategic planning, withdrawal from noise, and internal strength building. If handled with patience and clarity, This transit prepares you for a powerful relaunch when Mars enters your first house early next year. For Aquarius, Mars governs two very action-oriented houses: the third house of courage, communication, skills, short travels, self-effort, and initiative, and the 10th house of career, authority, reputation, responsibilities, and public visibility. When the planet of action moves into your 11th house of gains, income, achievements, social networks, friends, and long-term dreams, the energy becomes expansive, ambitious, and outward-facing. This is a transit that can push you to set new goals, take bold steps in professional life, and actively pursue the results you've been waiting for. The 11th house is one of the most beneficial houses in astrology, and Mars entering it brings a strong desire to grow, achieve, and influence. At the same time, because Mars rules critical houses, this transit requires mature handling, especially in communication and in professional relationships. Mars in the 11th house increases your desire to expand your reach. You may feel more motivated to network, connect with influential people, or join groups that align with your ambitions. Whether you work in business, corporate fields, creative industries, or social platforms, this transit can help you push your goals forward with confidence. You may take leadership roles within groups or teams, or people may rely on you for direction. Since Mars rules your 10th house, this transit becomes especially significant for career matters, promotion opportunities, project leadership, recognition, or new responsibilities may come your way. You may also make practical decisions regarding your professional path, such as launching a new plan, starting a project, or redefining your long-term goals. Because Mars also rules your 3rd house, your communication becomes sharper, bolder, and more assertive. You may express your ideas more confidently, and this can help you influence others. You must be careful not to sound too forceful or impatient, especially with colleagues, friends, or social circles. The 11th house governs friendships and networks, and while Mars brings energy to these areas, it can also create friction if you react too strongly to disagreements. This is a time where you must balance enthusiasm with diplomacy to avoid misunderstandings. The 11th house also rules income and financial gains. Mars can help you earn more, especially through independent work, leadership roles, or competitive fields. You may also find yourself working harder than usual to meet professional or financial goals. But Mars can also bring fluctuating gains, money coming in quickly and going out just as quickly. Because Mars rules your 10th and 3rd houses, financial success will depend on your initiative, effort, and strategic thinking. Avoid impulsive financial decisions or risky investments. As Mars moves through Sagittarius, it forms conjunctions with Sun, Venus, and Mercury, intensifying the effects of this transit. Sun joins Mars on December 16th, enhancing your leadership qualities and making you more visible in your professional and social circles. You may feel confident, ambitious, and ready to take charge. But ego clashes or competitive tension may appear if others feel overshadowed. Mercury enters Sagittarius on December 29th, sharpening your intellect and communication further. Your ideas may flow quickly, and you may feel eager to share them, but you must avoid rushing decisions or saying things without thinking them through. Venus enters your 11th house on December 20th, making social interactions more pleasant, but with Mars and Sun also present, friendships and group dynamics may fluctuate between cooperation and tension. Some relationships may grow deeper, while others may experience disagreements or competitive moments. Mars aspects during this transit significantly influence other areas of your life. The 4th aspect to Pisces, your 2nd house, interacts with Saturn, who is already bringing discipline and restructuring to your finances, speech, and family matters. Mars pushes you to take immediate action regarding finances or family responsibilities, while Saturn slows everything down, demanding patience and careful planning. This can create internal frustration if you expect quick results. Speech may become blunt, and disagreements with family may emerge if communication is not handled gently. Financially, this aspect emphasizes budgeting, disciplined savings, and avoiding impulsive spending. Mars' 7th aspect to Gemini, your 5th house, is strongly emphasized because Jupiter is retrograding there. The 5th house governs creativity, education, children, romance, and self-expression. Mars pushes forward while Jupiter retrograde encourages reflection. You may feel pressure in academic matters, creative projects, or children's needs. Romantic life may become more active but also more unpredictable. You may desire excitement and growth in love but may also feel conflicted if your expectations don't align with reality. Communication with children or romantic partners needs careful handling to avoid unnecessary arguments. Avoid expressing beliefs too forcefully, especially in sensitive conversations. Mars' 8th aspect to Cancer, your 6th house, influences daily routine, work pressure, health, and conflicts. This aspect can increase workload or demand more precision in daily tasks. You may need to organize your routine and avoid overloading yourself. The 8th aspect can also bring unexpected issues at work or sudden conflicts with colleagues. Health-wise, you must manage stress, especially if your routine becomes intense. Digestive issues or fatigue may arise if you push yourself too hard. Meanwhile, Rahu in Aquarius, positioned in your 1st house, intensifies your desire for freedom, individuality, and reinvention. You may feel more experimental, bold, or unconventional in how you present yourself. Rahu amplifies your personality, making you more noticeable, but also more restless. This can combine with Mars' energy to make you impatient for quick progress. Ketu in Leo, in your 7th house, reduces your interest in traditional relationship expectations. You may desire a more independent or unconventional approach to partnerships. This makes it important to communicate clearly with partners to avoid misunderstandings or emotional distance. Emotionally, this transit may push you to take your goals seriously. You may question who supports your growth and who drains your energy. Some friendships may naturally fade, while others grow stronger. You may also realize that certain long-term goals need revision. Mars encourages decisive action, while Jupiter and Saturn push you toward long-term wisdom and realistic expectations. One of the strongest themes of this transit is self-driven achievement. You are entering a period where your efforts can bring results, especially in career and financial areas, but only if you handle relationships and communication carefully. Avoid arguments, maintain patience, and prioritize clarity in all professional and social interactions. If you use this transit productively, you can make substantial progress toward your long-term goals and even open new doors for future success. Overall, Mars in the 11th house for Aquarius individuals brings ambition, movement, and progress, but also requires balance, maturity, and careful communication. Handled well, this transit can help you rise higher, gain recognition, and reformulate your dreams into practical, achievable steps. For Pisces, this Mars transit is one of the influential periods of the year because Mars enters your 10th house, activating career, public reputation, responsibilities, and authority. Mars governs your 2nd house, which controls wealth, family involvement, speech, and values. It also rules your 9th house, which directs luck, higher learning, long-distance travel, mentors, and beliefs. When these areas channel their energy into the 10th house, life becomes purposeful, demanding, and fast-moving. You are pushed to take decisive steps, address long-pending matters, and reshape your role in the outer world. This is a leadership-driven transit that requires clarity, discipline, and consistent action. Mars in the 10th house usually brings a surge of ambition. You may feel inclined to take charge at work, volunteer for new responsibilities, or initiate changes that you've avoided earlier. Your presence becomes stronger and more noticeable, whether you work in a corporate setup, run a business, or function independently. This transit supports bold decisions, but it also requires you to stay level-headed. Mars can make you assertive, but if you push too hard, disagreements with seniors or colleagues may surface. Still, this is a time when determination can take you far. If you've been waiting for a moment to advance in your field, this period can create openings. Since Mars rules your 9th house, professional choices are intertwined with belief systems and long-term direction. You may feel compelled to pursue opportunities that align with your principles or educational background. Some Pisces individuals may begin new training or higher studies to advance professionally. Others may receive work related to travel, foreign clients, or international assignments. You may also question whether your current career path reflects your ideals. If it doesn't, this transit can nudge you to realign your trajectory with something that feels more meaningful. This is not a passive shift. Mars encourages active pursuit of a better and more authentic direction. Mars ruling your 2nd house creates a direct connection between career and finances. Income may rise as a result of your hard work, or you may aggressively pursue opportunities that increase financial security. You may also take stronger positions in family-related decisions or feel the need to address long-standing financial issues. Speech becomes sharper, so it is essential to maintain tact in professional environments. You might deliver truth too quickly, and while honesty is valuable, timing and tone matter here more than usual. Mars transiting Sagittarius becomes even more potent due to the conjunctions occurring in the 10th house. Sun entering Sagittarius on December 16th amplifies your drive. You may feel a strong desire to prove your capability and establish your authority. The Sun-Mars combination heightens initiative but also intensifies reactions to resistance at work. Venus entering the 10th house on December 20th increases your appeal, making you more magnetic in professional settings. Venus softens Mars slightly, but with the Sun also present, you may shift between charm, impatience, and assertiveness depending on the situation. Mercury entering Sagittarius on December 29th enhances strategic thinking and quick decision-making. You may come up with plans quickly and take action without much hesitation. This is excellent for fast-moving industries but tricky if you work in areas that require careful analysis. The fourth aspect of Mars falls on Pisces, your first house, where Saturn is currently transiting. This is a defining influence. Mars pushes for speed while Saturn demands patience. You may experience internal pressure, feeling driven to act but restrained by responsibilities or the need for thoroughness. Saturn in the first house requires maturity, discipline, and long-term thinking. Mars aspect increases activity but also tests your stamina. This is a period when you must combine Mars initiative with Saturn's caution. Your body may feel the strain of increased workload, so pacing yourself becomes essential. Saturn reminds you that results will come, but only through consistent effort rather than impulsive decisions. Mars' seventh aspect to Gemini, your fourth house, interacts with Jupiter retrograding there. This combination influences home life, living arrangements, and your sense of grounding. You may feel pushed to reorganize your living space, or career duties may take you away from home more than usual. Jupiter retrograde encourages deeper reflection on family dynamics or property-related decisions, while Mars aspect introduces urgency. Avoid making hasty decisions regarding real estate, relocation, or family discussions. Balance is crucial because the fourth house represents inner stability, and Mars pressure can cause fluctuations if handled without awareness. Mars' eighth aspect to Cancer, your fifth house, affects creativity, academic pursuits, romance, and children. This can stir restlessness in these areas. Students may feel pressure in studies or competition. Those involved in creative fields may experience strong bursts of productivity followed by periods where ideas feel blocked. Romantic connections may intensify but may also require patience to avoid misunderstandings. Parents may need to attend to their children's increased demands, schedules, or changing routines. The eighth aspect often brings surprises, so flexibility is essential. Meanwhile, Rahu in Aquarius occupies your 12th house, heightening subconscious activity and pushing you toward internal transformation. You may notice stronger intuition, unusual dreams, or a deeper desire for solitude. Rahu can also create unpredictable expenses, so financial discipline is important, especially since Mars is influencing your second house indirectly. Ketu in Leo, in your 6th house, reduces interest in conflict and routine matters. You may withdraw from unnecessary disputes, but you must remain attentive to health, daily tasks, and obligations. Overlooking small responsibilities can lead to larger issues later. This period also highlights your relationship with authority and responsibility. If you've been avoiding certain tasks, Mars in the 10th house forces you to confront them. If you've been underplaying your talents, this transit pushes you to step up. You may also attract new roles that demand leadership or decision-making. While this increases workload, it also increases your visibility and influence. The key challenge of this transit lies in balancing drive with restraint. Mars pushes you to act, Saturn reminds you to move carefully, Jupiter retrograde nudges you to reflect, and Rahu, Ketu shift your priorities inward. You may feel stretched between ambition and caution. The best approach is to take steady, well-thought-out actions rather than reacting suddenly to pressure or opportunity. Overall, Mars transiting Sagittarius offers Pisces individuals a powerful window for career advancement, reputation building, and long-term progress. It brings activity, courage, and opportunity into your professional world. But it also tests your patience, focus, and stability. If you manage your reactions, maintain clarity, and work with consistency, this transit can elevate your career trajectory significantly and help you redefine your purpose in a grounded and confident way. As we conclude this episode, please keep in mind that these insights are based on the Sidereal Zodiac system used in Vedic astrology, which differs from the tropical system by approximately 24 degrees. These are general predictions. The real impact depends on your dasha cycles and your individual birth chart. For a personalized analysis or consultation, feel free to reach out. If you found this video valuable, please like, share, subscribe, and turn on notifications. And now, you can also hype this video to boost it within the community. Your support helps this knowledge reach more people who may benefit. Thank you for watching. Stay aware, keep learning, and keep shining bright.